Good morning, students. Today we will start chapter number 3, Advanced Features of MS Word. As we all know, word processing is the most popular and widely used computer application today. So in this chapter, we will be creating a professional document by using some advanced features of MS Word. Children, MS Word is a word processing software given by Microsoft and it is present in the Microsoft Office package. In this chapter, we will be learning first how to format a document. In formatting, you will be learning different concepts like how to give the line spacing, how to apply bullets and numbering, then how to align the paragraphs, how to indent the paragraphs, how to apply the borders and shadings. So different features in the formatting we'll be learning, and then we will learn one of the advanced features of MS Word, that is mail merge. So in mail merge, what you will be doing is we'll have a main document and we'll have a data source. So what we'll do is we will merge a document with the data source and we'll see how this professional document will be merged and sent to multiple recipients. So let's start with the first part of the chapter, that is formatting the document. So children, now let us start with the formatting part. First, let us see what is the meaning of formatting. Formatting means setting a document in a style to appear more attractive and understandable. So now if you see here, I have a sample document with me where I have just typed two paragraphs there. So if you look here right now, instead of taking it completely as a black text, I have highlighted some of the words which I need you to pay attention on. So if you look now, my document doesn't look very plain. The words which have been highlighted are catchy and you directly get to see those words. Your attention is directly pulled towards those words. So like that, in formatting, what we'll do is we'll just set some styles and we'll apply some effects on the text so as to make it more attractive. So when we start with the formatting, let us start first with the font group. So if you look here in the font group, there are different options that can be applied to your font. For example, I can change the font by simply selecting the text and just go to this option and you can choose any font which you like. So I'll stick to a basic font. Now, the size of the font can also be increased. So if you look here, there are the number, this is the size of the font. So simply by scrolling down, you can just change the size of the font. If you don't wish to change the size of the font from here, you can just directly change the size of the font by using these two options. So this is for increasing the size and this one is to decrease the size. Then coming to the next line. If you look here, first one is to make the text bold, as you all know, then italic, underline. In underline, you have different options, different types of underlines which you want to choose. Then you can also strike a word. For example, I'll just strike a word for you and I'll show you. So just click like this and you see. Then you have the options to write the subscripts and the superscripts. Now what is subscript and what is superscript? As you can see here, X and then 2 is written in the base. So in the subscript, the text which will be written later on will appear at the bottom of the text which you write first. Whereas in superscript, the text which you write later on will appear on the top. So if you see in chemical formulas like H2O, CO2, when we write these formulas, that 2 comes at the bottom of the letter. Similarly, in mathematical formulas, when we write x square, x cube, there if you see the number comes on top of the text. So to write here the subscript and the superscript, we will make use of these. For example, if I write CO2 and I want 2 to be in the subscript, so I'll just select 2 and select this option. Now if you look here, I'll just increase the size and show you. If you look here, 2 is appearing at the bottom. Similarly, if I write x square y, so x square y, I want the square to appear on the top. So what I'll do is I'll just select this square, click on the superscript, and now you can see. So this is how you will write your text in the superscript and the subscript. Then this option will help you to change the case of the alphabets. For example, I want this to be in the uppercase. So I'll just click and select uppercase. So my text changed to all capitals, that is uppercase letters. Similarly, you can just try out the other options on your own. Then coming to this one, this is used to highlight your text. This is like a text highlighter which you use. For example, when you are reading a textbook or when you are reading some important article, to highlight a text you use a highlighter so that that text gets more prominent. In the same way, you can use the text highlighter here. For example, if I want to just highlight these particular words, what I can do is just select those words and choose the color of the highlighter you want to highlight them with, and that's it. So this is how you can just highlight your text. Now after highlighting the text, next is the font color. So this option will change the color of your font. For example, I have changed some font color to blue here. I will change it back to black. So what you can do is just simply select the text and change the font color. So this is how you can change the color of the font which you want. Now this is about the font group. This is how you make editing, you apply formatting by using the font group. Now let us work with the second group, that is the paragraph group. So now we'll be learning to apply the options from the paragraph group. Let us start from the first option. So the option you look here, this is to add the bullets to your content. For example, if you're writing certain points in your document, you can list those points by using these bullets. So what you have to do is just simply select the text and you can choose from the bullets which you want. So if you look here children, there are different options of bullets. So you will have two main categories. First is this one. So when you don't have well defined number of steps, or when you don't want the bullets to be in a sequential order, so in that case you can use these bullets. These are the unordered bullets we say. Then if you have the steps in a sequential order, that means you need to specify which step will be followed by which one. In that case, you can use the numbered bullets. So if you see in the numbered bullets, you have different options of using numbers, or you can use the Roman numericals, you can use the alphabets. So these are the numerical bullets, where that is the ordered bullets, and these are the unordered bullets. So what I can do is I can either choose from these options given, or if you don't want to use any of these options, you want to define your own option, then you can simply click on define new bullet, and here you can choose which bullet you want to use. So you can add different symbols as your bullet from this or you can even add a picture as your bullet. You need to just choose a picture from this. If you don't want any pre-existing picture, you can add a picture of your own choice by simply clicking on this import button. When you click on import button, it asks for a picture, and you can directly select a picture from your computer and you can add that as a bullet. So this is how you are going to add the bullets. Then next one here you see is intent. So children, intent is nothing but the space between the margin and the text. So if you look here, this is my margin, and the space between these margin and my text, this particular space is intent. So from here to here, this space is intent. So the distance from the margin to the text is the intent. So this option is used to increase and decrease the intent. So this is for decreasing the intent and this is for increasing the intent. So now let us see how does it work. So first what we'll do is we'll increase the intent, that is take this text away from the margin. So if you look here, see how your text is just moving away from the margin. I'm increasing the intent, that means I'm increasing the distance between the margin and my text. Similarly, when I decrease the intent, the content will come closer to the margins. So this is what the intent option does. Now let us come to these options. These options are to align your data, to align your content. So if you look here, this is to align the text to the left side, and the shortcut key will be Control plus L. Similarly, this is to align the text to the center of the page. The shortcut key is Control plus E. This is to align your text to the right hand side, and the shortcut will be Control plus R. And this is justify. So in justify, what happens is the text will be aligned equally from both left and right margin. So I'll do all the four options for you and I'll show you. So now I'll select my text. It's already left aligned, that means the content, all my content is on the left hand side. Then to bring it to the center, I will select this. So now if you see here, my content is aligned to the center, then to the right, and finally to the justify. So if you see in justify, it is equal from both the margins. So I'll just leave it on justify. So this is what is about alignment of the text. Now let us learn the next topic, that is line spacing. How do you change the spacing between these lines of your content? To simply apply line spacing, what you will do is, right now if you see the space between the line, I'll just increase the space and I'll show you. So right now the space is 1.0. By using or by selecting on any of these options, you can increase the space between your lines. So if I choose 2.0, so if you see, the space between the lines gradually increased. Similarly, if you go for 3.0, it is increased further. So I'll just go with 1.15. So this is like apt. This is the standard what we will take. Now, if you want any other spacing option, you can simply click on line spacing option and you can select from these options. So there are general options, like if you want to align them in justified or whatever, and then you can set the indentation and you can set the size. So you can just text your own size and select your own size and give it there for the text. So this is how you will be applying the space. Now if you look here, along with the line spacing, we have two other options: remove space before paragraph and remove space after paragraph. So if you look here, this is my content and this is in the form of the paragraph. So removing the space before and after a paragraph will remove any extra space which is present before the paragraph or after the paragraph. Similarly, you also get an option of adding the space between the paragraph and before the paragraph. So by this you can add some amount of space before you start writing a paragraph or after you end the paragraph. So this is the option of line spacing. Now let us move to the next option. This is sorting the data. So this option will sort your data according to the text. So you can sort them in an alphabetical order, or you can sort them in a numerical order, maybe in the ascending and the descending one as well. Then coming to this option, this is for adding the shading to your text. So what you can do is simply select the text you want and then just choose a color and it will add a shading to your text. So this is how it works. So after coming to the shading part, now let us see how to apply the borders to your text. So if you look here, there are different options to apply the borders. All the options are briefly explained. So if you are using bottom border, you can see a bold line here at the bottom. That means your border is applied only at the bottom. Then the top border, left, right, no border means there is no border at all. All borders means completely with your rows and column, completely the borders will be applied inside and out. Whereas in outside border, the borders will be applied only in the outer boundaries, and in inside it will be applied only in the inner boundaries. Then you have inside horizontal and inside vertical borders as well. So you can explore all these options by just writing your content and apply and see all the options on your content. The more you try, the more options you'll see. It's all about just trying the options, children. So you can just apply all the borders, you can apply the right borders, you can apply the top borders and see. So right now I have applied all borders. You got a border around your paragraph. What you will do is just select the text where you want to apply the border and choose the option of no border. So the border is gone. So this is how you are going to apply the borders, and this is how you are going to align your paragraph, and how to apply different options of the bullets and indentation on your paragraphs, and how to apply the line spacing between the text. So this is completely about the paragraph group. So we have seen formatting using the font group as well as the paragraph group. Now we'll move to the next and the most important part of the chapter, that is your mail merge. Now children, let us learn how do we use the mail merge. That let us learn what is mail merge. So mail merge is a tool in MS Word that enables you to create multiple copies of a document with small changes in it. So the same document with the minor changes, you'll be creating multiple copies. For example, let's say you have an invitation letter. So you want to invite your friends for your birthday party, or you have written certain article which you want to share with a group of friends. So what you can do is, for every person you can format and structure your letter the way you want. So here we'll be using two files. One is the main document and the second one is the data source. So now let us see what is a main document. So main document is the file in MS Word that contains the text and structure of the document. So this will be your main file in which you will write your document. For example, right now I have written a document on CyberOrgs. Similarly, you can create your invitation letter and that will become your main document. The second one is the data source. So data source is the second file that we'll be using in mail merge, and this file will contain the data which is required to be merged with the main document. For example, once you have finished designing your invitation letter, once you have finished structuring the article which you want to share, then you need to enter the information or the details of the recipient, the people you are sending that document or that invitation. So now their address will be the data source. So that will be a source where you are going to send this data. So now here we'll be merging two main documents, that is main document and data source. We'll combine main document and data source. Now let us learn how this procedure will be done. So to start off with the procedure, the first step is you need to go to the mailing tab here on the menu bar. So just click on the mailings tab. In the mailing tab, you have to come to the start mail merge group. So once you have come to the mailing tab, now click on start mail merge group. In start mail merge group, you have an option called start mail merge. So you don't have to click on this option. Click on this inverted triangle which you see here. Just click on this drop down, and at the end you have step by step mail merge wizard. So now we will be doing a step by step mail merge wizard to apply the mail merge on this document. When you do the step by step mail merge wizard, remember there are total 6 steps for mail merge. So what you will do is just click on this, and immediately on your right hand you get an option like this. So if you see here, a side window has appeared on the right side. So now, what type of document are you working on? So you have to choose the type of document which you are working on. So is it a letter, email, envelopes, labels, directories, whatever it is. So you have to first select the type of the document you are working on. So I'll just go with letters. Once you have selected the type of document, you need to click on the next step. So next step is starting document. So just click on this and you get the options. How do you want to set up your letter? So use the current document, or start from a template, or you start from an existing document. So right now this is my current document which I want to send. So I'll just click the option use the current document. Click on this option and then just go to the next step, that is step number 3, select the recipients. So now recipients are the people to whom you are sending your letter. So in selecting the recipient, you have 3 different options. Use an existing list, select from Outlook contacts, type a new list. So if you have already typed a new list, you will have to use a use an existing list. Otherwise, you can also use your Outlook contacts. So if you have an account in the Outlook, you can just use your Outlook contacts to send this. Otherwise, you will choose the third option, that is type a new list. Since I don't have any list prepared, so I will click on the third option, that is type a new list. Now in type a new list, you need to just click here on create. So when you click on create, this is how a window appears. A pop-up window has come which has different fields which are to be filled. You can see there are number of fields which I need to fill. This is how you gather the information of the people, or you store the information. For example, when somebody gives you your contact number in the mobile phone, so in the mobile phone you get fields to save their name, their last name, then to save whether the phone number is a working number or it's a personal number, or you also get to save their profile picture, you get to save their email address. Similarly here also there are number of fields which are there to save the information about a person. So now if you feel that these fields are more like title, first name, last name, company name, address line, so there are number of fields if you see here. So if at all you feel that these fields are not necessary, you can also customize your own fields. For example, here you have 4 different options: new entry, delete entry, find and customize. This is very same how you operate your contacts in the mobile phone. So new entry will help you to add a new contact. Delete entry will help you to delete an existing contact. Find will help you to find from the list of contacts. And now customize column will help you to customize the fields which you want. So if you click on customize columns, you see the name of all the fields. Title, first name, last name, etc. For example, I don't want the company name. So just simply click on company name and delete. Similarly, address line, if you don't want the address of the person, then address line and delete. So whatever fields you want, you can just keep them, and then you can simply just delete the rest of them. And also you can add your own fields if you want. So let's say these are the fields which I don't want. So I'll just simply delete all these fields. I need the email address of the person. So I'll keep the email address, and also I'll keep the phone number of the person. Rest all I am just deleting it off. So what you will do is, once this is done, okay. So now I get the limited fields which I want to see. So I'll just start. So I'll write a sample list. So in this sample list, so this is just a sample list which I am typing here. So last name comes in the next column. So here comes the last name, and then you add a working phone number. I'm just entering a random number, and then enter an email ID. So I'm entering a random email ID here. Similarly, to add the next contact, you will just go and click on new entry. That will help you with the next contact, and the next contact I can add. So once you are done with this, what you will do is, so once your list is prepared, you'll just click on OK. So the list is already prepared. Now you need to save the list. You will want to save the list with some name, so that you can use it later on as well. So once the list is prepared, this is how you can see the list. So all the list will be given here. You can add more contacts, and you can see how your list will appear. So once the list is done, just click on OK, and next step, write your letter. So my letter is already written, so I don't have to write it again. So I'll again, now I'll just go to the next step, that is preview your letter. So preview your letter will show you a preview of the letter, how it is going to appear to the person whom you are sending. Once this is done, you get to select the recipients to whom you want to send this. So I have saved two contacts in my list. So you can see here recipient 1 and recipient 2. Once this is done, you need to just simply click on complete the merge. That's it. This is how the merging part is done. That means both the main document and the list which we have prepared got merged, and now you can perform any operations which you want, like you want to send them through email, or you want to send them through the Outlook contacts. You can just select the options and you can perform it. So once it is done, your mail merge is done. So finish and merge. See, you get the options edit individual document. So you can edit the individual document for both the recipients. You can print your document, or you can send that document as an email message. To print the document, you can just click on print document, and that will help you to print the document which you have designed. So this is how mail merge will be applied, children. So this is about your chapter advanced features of MS Word. So in this we have learned how to format your document and how to mail merge the document. The exercises of this chapter I'll be sending you as the PDF, so you don't have to write the exercises in your notebooks. question answers I'll be sending you as another PDF. There are only 5 question answers. So that 5 question answers you will have to note down in your computer copies. Then along with this, I will also give you one activity. So this activity you have to just practice on your computer or your laptop. You don't have to submit this activity to me. You just have to practice it on your computer or laptop on your own and see if you can perform mail merge. Now once your work is done, please don't send me the work unless I ask you to send. I'll be telling you a date later on and only then you will send me your work. Don't send me the work till I ask you to submit it.